Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Nexus podcast. Today we have a special guest, and unfortunately, Dave is not here with us today because he has some plans. He has a relative's birthday to attend to, so it's just going to be myself running this episode with our guest. And let me introduce you to TrueUnderDawg. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. It's a happy Sunday, and I'm proud to be here.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so usually on my channel, we cover like competitive MK, but I don't know how much you're familiar with like the competitive aspects of things.
I
But
used to be, but I've fallen off a little bit. So if any new up and comers showed up, I've got no clue. But I used to know all the old heads and stuff up until like 2019, 2020 at Evo.
nice, nice. Yeah, I remember I did watch some of your videos, and I do apologize if I did have some competitive criticisms on your videos. I didn't mean to be a nuisance when commenting on said videos, but I know you mentioned in some of your videos you attended like past Evos and stuff like that. Like, would you sign up in bracket when you attended, or just like spectate?
Oh yeah, I competed in some. So I actually have my Chipotle cards that I got from placing in a couple of Evo tournaments. Not really
Hey,
high or anything, but enough to get my Chipotle cards.
that means you
So
made out of pools, right?
I think so. And then one time they took my photo too, like for a Tekken tournament, because I play a lot of games that people don't know about since they're never on my YouTube channel. But the YouTube channel is whatever my audience wants to watch the most. So Mortal Kombat. But I've actually gotten pretty good at Tekken and even Street Fighter 6 off camera. I've gotten really good at both of those games. So
Heck yeah, that's
yeah,
what's up.
I'm at two Chipotles.
Yeah, I believe, yeah, you have to win or make it out of your pools, I think, to get the Chipotle cards, because Combo Breaker has those Chipotle cards too, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember like my brother got a few Chipotle cards because he played in multiple games, and uh, I'm definitely going to be at Combo Breaker this year because they're having all the NRS titles this year in like late May, whenever they usually have Combo Breaker. So I don't know what all games are going to have the Chipotle cards, but if all NRS games somehow had Chipotle cards, definitely up to have that many Chipotle cards. That'd be cool.
My girlfriend is so tickled that for some reason Chipotle is tied into competitive fighting games. She's got no clue why or when that happened.
Yeah, I don't know either, but whatever the reason, I like it.
Hmm.
So being that I have watched some of your content, like just to give the viewer some backstory, what got you like what was your first like experience of Mortal Kombat? Like not as a content creator, just like ever first time in your life, whether you were a kid or like a decade ago or whatever the case may be. Like what got you
Oh yeah,
involved with
itty
Mortal
bitty.
Kombat?
Like little kid could barely hold a controller because my older siblings were already playing Mortal Kombat and Dead or Alive. I think Dead or Alive was the first fighting game that I was really into, but I was still button mashing. But we played like every single day, and I liked how it was 3D. And then the 3D era Mortal Kombat games came out, and I was like, oh hell yeah, now we're in there. At that point, I was in maybe middle school, and then I kind of fell off for a bit until Mortal Kombat 9. And then I thought, oh, that's really cool. They're going back to 2D. This should be interesting. And I saw other YouTubers playing the demo on PS3, which I didn't have. And I was like, damn it, but I can watch people play it. And that got me excited. I thought, if these people can play video games, have a fun time, and get an audience while doing it, there might be money in this. And that started my YouTube career.
Nice. Yeah, it seems like a long journey from being a kid up until 2026. Um, so how like I know again we usually cover competitive gameplay, but so we usually don't touch up on this subject too much because a lot of the players I've had on here so far, and like M2 Dave also isn't in tune with the story as much. How in tune are you with the story? Like I think I've seen you made videos with Force Snake and Sonic XD. And I haven't seen like every episode of your guys' cast, but I know Fourth Snake is a lower head when it comes to Mortal Kombat, and I haven't really watched Sonic XD, but I'd imagine he's probably
That's my
in the
boy.
he's like a lower head too with the series. Like how in
So
touch are
Sonic
you with the
XD is more
story?
of a new lore head. Yeah, with the NetherRealm games and stuff. Whereas, yeah, the Fort Snake probably knows the most, but in these recent months, I've gotten really, really deep into the Mortal Kombat lore because I started a new series where I would rank a certain character in the game in every single game they're in and make a tier list about that. So, for example, Sindel in Mortal Kombat Deception is like a main character. Same in Mortal Kombat 3, she's a really big deal. But in the other games, she's like a side character. And so it's fun to rank, like in each game, do they play a role or not? And I've done that for like 10 characters already, so I've had to relive the entire series over 10 times with 10 different characters. So I've gotten pretty knowledgeable of the MK series as a result.
Nice. Uh, yeah, the reason I ask is because it's gonna segue into my further questions in a second, but like I haven't been as in tune with the story mainly because of the whole multiverse stuff, which I'm not like a huge fan of, and I still have to see some arcade ladder endings for like MK1 or slash
Mhm.
MK12. Um, so like I'm a little lacking on the new stuff, but like Tobias's story, like the Midway era Mortal Kombat, I'm more familiar with. But MK9 had like the best story in my opinion as of NRS games go. Uh, and then MKX, I thought there was just way too much power creep with the new characters they introduced, and then MK11. Now we're doing multiverse stuff. It feels like Marvel movie stuff, and uh, again, there's really bad power scaling again, and then new
Oh,
characters
yeah.
like Chronica, like that I'm not a fan of. Like there was no foreshadowing of her from what I could tell, and she's just out of nowhere. Like there's a new classification of big bad, and it's called the Titan, and
Yeah.
now we're seeing it with Chronica, and on top of that, she brings the multiverse into the series, and I just wasn't a fan. So
I think you'd like my video a lot where I completely redesigned Chronica, both her appearance and her role in the story. So she still controls time, but she's a different being. She's not the mother of elder gods, because that makes no sense. That's never been a thing in Mortal Kombat lore. The elder gods existed when time itself began.
yeah, with the one
So somebody
being.
above them makes no sense. And so in my version, she's just a being who controls time. That's like her ability. And Garrus is her child instead of Cetrion, because that makes no sense. And it's just more interesting that way, I think. I made a whole video about it. It didn't do super well, didn't do bad, but it was pretty fun because I redesigned everything about her, including how she looks. And if I have a picture of that, I'll show it to you in a bit. But yeah, Chronica is hilarious. What's even funnier is that according to my comment section, I did double check this. The writer of Mortal Kombat 11 said, "Oh, not only is Chronica above the Elder Gods, she's above the One Being."
Whoa,
I'm
really?
like, what? But that's the
Dude,
universe. He's
yeah,
like
the
literally
one
existence.
being is yeah, like it. The one being is severed into many realms, and that's why the elder gods don't want the realms to be merged. Like, really? They said that?
Yeah, that's what he said, apparently, the writer of MK11. But then again, people say stuff all the time during interviews. Maybe you had a long day. Who knows?
Yikes! Yeah, I would not be a fan of that at all if that actually played into the lore. That wow. Um,
Meanwhile, they accept she's so hated that in Mortal Kombat 1, they directly state she can't come back. Once the Titan's dead, they're dead. So,
yeah, I hope that for as of now, I definitely don't want to see her come back. Like there's so many characters in the lore from the Midway era or Tobias's story that went not like unfleshed out, like that they could have used before introducing new ones. Like, and just a random fact: isn't Cetrion also the sister of Shinnok? Or
yeah, she was meant to be the goddess of like life because Shinnok is the god of death, I suppose.
I
He's
see.
not the god of hell. That's like a misconception because that's Lucifer, who is actually canon. Like he's a character that existed. He just died before the games started.
Mm.
Yeah, he ruled over hell. The Netherrealm was actually Lucifer's realm. And he had Shinnok down there as punishment. He was torturing Shinnok on the Elder Gods, like punishment whole thing.
Yeah.
And then Quan Chi betrayed him and they ganged up on Lucifer, Shinnok, and Quan Chi and managed to kill Lucifer. But otherwise, he's stronger than Shinnok in the Netherrealm.
Oh wow! I
So,
didn't even know Lucifer was part of the MK lore.
mhm.
Did, hmm. Uh,
He's never been shown, to be fair. He's only been mentioned.
Hey, that's interesting. Yeah, there's still a lot I can learn about the series' lore too. Like, I actually been meaning to brush up on like some of the, uh, like biographies or like other source outlets of like the lore in the video games, like mainly like the arcade games. Like, I'm sure Legacy Collection might have some stuff that I don't know lore wise, like the arcade games and all that and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like I'm also not a fan of like not only the multiverse, but like for example, like Cyrax and Sector's gender bending, and I'm not trying to bring politics into this, like, but
It's not really
it's
politics. People don't like when you change a character. It works in both directions. Like when I've told people it was dumb to make Jade bald, and I make sure to include in my video, imagine if they gave Kratos hair.
yeah,
Like,
that would be silly.
nothing wrong with hair. It's just that Kratos is known for being bald. Like you can't give him hair.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I agree with that. Like, you're taking a character's identity away by making such a drastic change like that, and at that point, it just seems like it's not even them. Like,
Yeah, just make a new character at that point. I will
and
say that changing just one of them maybe would have been okay. And the fourth snake talked about this too. You want to change just one and be like, oh, that's because like timeline shenanigans, whatever. But to change both is odd.
yeah, and you got
And if you
Tanya
count
as
them,
well too. Like,
yeah, Tanya's definitely a new character. I joke all the time that Tanya is just a new character. There's not even her personality is the same. At least with Sector and Cyrax, they're still kind of there.
yeah,
But personality wise, but Tanya's just not. Tanya's completely different. And then if you do the actual math, there's 5 gender bends in Mortal Kombat 1 total. There's more than people think.
I'm trying to think of who those characters would be. I know, yeah, obviously Sector Cyrax.
And we have
And then,
Janet Cage, who's a cameo, but
yeah,
still,
yeah.
we see her in universe in chapter
Oh
15.
yeah, Madame
so
Bo.
she exists.
Madame Bo, right?
Madame Bo.
For Bo
Yep,
Right
there's
Show.
Madame Bo, because it can't be that she's the wife of Bo Right Show, because Sector's dad is like a mechanical engineer.
Yes.
So
yeah.
we know that's not Bo Right Show. And then we have the dragon in Chaos Realms was gender bent too. That dragon's from Armageddon, and it's a dude in Armageddon.
Oh, I didn't know about that one.
They gender bent a fucking dragon.
Oh wait, are you talking about Orin
Oran
and
or whatever?
Karo?
Yeah.
Orin and Karo. I think Karo was Dagon's dragon, the red one, and I think Orin was the yellow dragon that Taven was oversaw by, if I remember correctly.
Exactly. I
Dang.
can't find a full picture of Chronica just yet. I have to probably watch the video to find it, but I can show you like a thumbnail idea I had of her. Well, a thumbnail I was going to do. It shows half of the Chronica redesign just for fun. Here's the redesign that I did.
I see. Yeah, so like, another thing I'm gonna bring up too is like, now we're talking like with the video game stuff. Like, I prefer the old story stuff because like, Scorpion in this game, him being Sub-Zero's brother, and like the whole Noob Saibot scenario now, like we have going on, like, Scorpion just doesn't feel like Scorpion anymore. For one, both in terms of gameplay and like as a character. Because as far as I know, we don't really have a Hanzo Asashi. Like, I think, was this Smoke's ending or something that hinted at Hanzo Asashi? But, like...
Yeah, he appears in a couple endings, that little kid. Yeah.
But
Which was so bizarre to me, because I thought I would have sworn the whole point of Liu Kang being like, okay, Hanzo's had it so rough in all the past realities, so in my timeline, he's just a regular dude with like a happy family, no ties to the ninjas. That's what I thought they were gonna do when I saw that Scorpion was not Hanzo. I was like, oh, it's because Hanzo's off happy somewhere. That's like Liu Kang's reward to him for being a real one. But no, he's still gonna have to go through it. Like he's a fucking struggling homeless child having to kill for food. Like what?
Yeah, because Kuai Liang is Sub-Zero in the MK1 verse, and Scorpion is Bihan, right? Or do I have it backwards? I think...
vice versa, but yeah, close enough.
Yeah, so like...
Bihan's the original, and they made him Sub-Zero, which could have been cool. The problem is that NetherRealm lately does not understand like morally gray. They just make a villain like hilariously evil. So Bihan is supposed to be a complex kind of character who actually does a lot of good, but they made him just like cliche. Oh, I want to rule the world. Liu Kang sucks.
Yeah, he's definitely a lot more different than his usual self. Like he's super hardcore into just being he's cold hearted, which I guess is fitting for a character with freezing powers and stuff. But yeah, I'm not a fan of him being like brothers with Scorpion and the Hanzo
I
situation, like I said, and then the noob
I have a
Saibot
big thing I'm worried
situation.
about. Yeah, the Noob Saibot situation, because they didn't revert it in the game, and it seems to be implied he'll stay Noob Saibot. So I'm like, okay, I really doubt they're gonna like have Kuai Liang suddenly lose all of his Scorpion powers and get ice powers. They might do that. It'd be very weird, and that had me worried though. If they're not gonna do that, does this mean Frost is gonna be the new Sub-Zero? And they're just not gonna call her Frost. She's gonna be called Sub-Zero because Sub-Zero's Noob Saibot now. And I'm like, would they actually try that? They might.
Yeah, I mean, historically, Frost has always been trying to steal the medallion from Sub Zero, and like she ends up not being powerful enough to wield it because
Yeah.
she just gets frozen, and it just totally ruins her whole life. And she's
Yeah, it
always
makes her
trying to
like schizo.
backstab Sub Zero. So like, unless like they made like a evil Lin Kuei arc or something like with through her, uh, I mean, I hope they don't go that route with her, but. Yeah, I mean, what other cryomancers are there? You know, um, so that's like the game side of things. Just for a little bit, how do you feel about the movie coming up? I think it's is it releasing in early May? I think it is. They just released like a new trailer for the second movie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm always hopeful, but I have the exact same expectations for this movie as I did for the previous one. I think it's going to be just okay. It's going to pander a lot to normies, which means creating some changes that you and I might not like as longtime Mortal Kombat fans. But I think the spectacle will be there. I think it'll be a fun ride. It's just not going to be anything amazing. I kind of only expect the animated movies to be amazing at this point, and even then they fall short sometimes. But I liked Cage Match. I liked Scorpion's Revenge. Hated Battle of the Realms.
Mm.
If I could undo one movie in history, it would be that movie. But yeah, that's my expectations for the MK2 movie. I've heard from other Mortal Kombat fans who've seen an early screening all the way back in October,
Oh
because
wow.
that's when it was supposed to air originally, was in October 31st or something.
Yeah, before the
So
delay.
yeah, and that was a whole other can of worms. It was fun to rant about, but they said it was good, so it's probably going to be okay.
Yeah, I didn't like the first movie at all. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not trying to be a super negative Nancy. And I do like the animated films too they made. I only saw every one of them once, so like I would have to rewatch them to give them more like detailed like criticisms or things I like and dislike. But the live action movie from 2021, I didn't like the whole Arcana thing. Cole Young's character was just an unnecessary addition to the roster, and nothing against the actor. What's his name? Louis Tan.
Yeah.
Nothing against the actor. He's a great actor. I just think he should have played a different character. Like, people are like just retweeting like some footage he released on Twitter, like I think a couple days ago, of him just swinging a katana around, and like people are saying, why wasn't he Kenshi? Why was he Cole Young? Like, and I agree. Like, he should have been a Kenshi role if anything. Like, we didn't need Mr.
Mhm.
Plot Armor Cole Young like beating the 9-time MK champion being Goro or whatever.
Also,
And
speaking
like,
about exactly speaking about not getting political, everyone forgets what the creators of the Mortal Kombat 2021 movie said when asked about why they were making Cole Young instead of just doing Johnny Cage or something. Do you recall what they said?
I don't remember.
This was during that era of like, I hate to sound so like lame here, but they said this. It was during that era of like white man bad, like we can't have a white guy be the main character in a martial arts movie, and they pretty much said that. They were like, we don't want a white savior as the main character in a martial arts movie, so we made Cole Young, and everyone's like, but Luke Kang's right there.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Like you had to make a whole new guy. You already had. And so as a result, that's what that was the weirdest part about the 2021 movie is Liu Kang being a side character. That's such a weird thing.
Yeah, that's very strange. Like,
Seeing him just be in the background, he fights Cabal. That's his big climactic enemy is Cabal.
Yeah, I could go on about how much I dislike that movie. Like I watched it with my friends too. Like one of my other buddies is like pretty big fan of MK. Like he might not know as much lore as we do, but like he just the friends we watched it with, they all thought like it just strayed away from the usual like characters and their identities way too much and their backstories, and like that's one of the things I worry about the second movie is they have a huge roster of characters, and unless it's gonna be like a 3 hour like Infinity War kind of movie, like I don't see how you're gonna like without having too much exposition. Like I don't see how you're gonna go over all of those characters like uh,
Mhm.
while having a balance of fight scenes. And my worry is there's gonna be too much exposition. It's gonna be kind of rushed in the sense of like including fight scenes and also Shao being the big bad. Like they have to address him, and I want that to be a decently sized fight. Like I don't know if you've seen Stranger Things or not, but like the finale to Stranger Things was
Yeah.
very like I think the fight scene was just way too short. Not to like spoil things for people or whatever, but like it was way too short. Way too much like time was used on exposition, and I know it's not like a movie, but like and it's like a series of episodes in a show, but like I don't want that same situation to happen to the MK movie because if it's going to be like a 90-minute to 2 hour movie, like that's not a lot of time to cover the whole roster of characters on top of
Exactly.
any fight scenes that might be in there, like Scorpion and Noob Saibot. That alone could be like a movie in itself. So like,
Hmm.
and I'm also worried that the trailer moments are the only good moments. I'm really worried that's going to be the case too. Like I don't want what was revealed to be the only good parts of the movie. That's another fear I have.
It could always happen, though. That's the scary part. It could always be that way. That's what Battle of the Realms did. I was flabbergasted. That animated movie, like some of the fight scenes are just 10 seconds. So it was legit just the trailer. I was like, what? No way.
Yeah, I really hope
Yeah.
it's. Yeah, I kind of have the same expectations as you do. Like I'm not getting my hopes up, and I think it might be better than the first one, but I think it's not really saying you don't have to do a whole lot to top the first one, in my opinion. Like respectfully, so I don't know. I hope that that movie ends up being really good, and yeah, like just like some other minor criticisms, like Jade being bald, and I'm not really a fan of like how Baraka really sounds. Like I don't know, he has like a really deepish, not too scary voice. Like for usually Baraka's like raspy and obnoxious when he talks and stuff like that. Like I don't know, just I'm just hoping for the movie to be better than what I'm thinking. Like I'm hoping to be surprised, but not getting my hopes too high up.
Yeah. Like I always say, have low expectations for not just video game movies, but Mortal Kombat movies especially.
Yeah, it was kind of funny too because like just randomly the uh the whole like anime FGC like talking about like the whole Mount Rushmore conversation, and like I don't know if they're talking from an FGC bubble specifically or if they're talking worldwide like in terms of iconicism. Like uh I made like a tweet about it because they had those Olympic people did like a Scorpion, or I'm sorry, the Sub Zero and Katana skating thing or whatever, and I made a post saying like, what does the anime community have to say about this? Like, MK is definitely on the Mount Rushmore of fighting games. If we're talking in terms of iconicism, there's so many characters that you can like just go to a random stranger to of most ages and be like, hey, have you heard of the phrase "get over here" or where it stems from, or have you seen this character and shown a picture of like any of the ninjas, like
Yeah.
Scorpion, Sub Zero, or heard of the line, uh, "finish him, fatality, your soul is mine." Like I could go on, and then after I made that tweet, Todd Garner actually liked it of all people. I was like, oh snap, he
Nice.
saw it. I got the Todd Garner like, but then like a week or two later, I think that's when they revealed more stuff on the MK movie. So I'm just like, dang, MK's getting some eyes, hopefully, and hopefully the communities know their place in terms of iconic lore for their games. But
No, I mean for sure. I always do laugh when people do that whole, oh, Mortal Kombat is just, it's just a normie. It's not very actually really popular. And come on, come on.
yeah,
It's
that's
clearly
just
extremely popular. Now, sometimes I think, does it deserve the popularity? Like Scorpion, for example, is just like a yellow ninja man when you think about how he looks and how he started off. But he's evolved from there and it's just gotten more and more popular. And hey, if it's a fun catchphrase, it's a fun catchphrase. Get over here.
yeah, it is. Yeah, like um, yeah, I think MK as like whether it's like I feel like maybe it's more in the FGC, but I definitely feel like MK gets too much hate. And if we're talking like worldwide as like a identity and not just like in terms of an FGC bubble, like it's probably the most popular fighting game, except maybe Smash Bros. But like Smash Bros. Is also a collaboration of several Nintendo games that are super popular worldwide. So even if it's more popular than MK, the fact that Mortal Kombat puts numbers and like competes with that, Smash Bros. And all the Nintendo figures in it, like is a sign that like MK is a juggernaut. You know?
Oh, yeah. I almost wish they would make versions of the game that, I know people will say cringe if I mention this, but in some countries, Mortal Kombat's banned for the violence. So I kind of wish they would make a version that doesn't have the fatalities and gore, just so other countries can still play it. Because I see people in my comments being like, man, I really want to play it, but it's banned in my country.
Yeah, that's
And I'm
crazy
like,
to
dang.
me. That really sucks.
There's even a post on Reddit. Some guy said, dude, for the first time in my life, I'm holding MK9 in my hand. It's been banned in my country for all these years.
Dang.
Like, hell yeah, bro, enjoy. Servers don't work, but still, enjoy it. Like, enjoy all the offline stuff. It's still fun. That game is robbery, though. That game is robbery. I have a question for you because you do competitive Mortal Kombat. I have this feeling, and people get mad when I bring this up, but I have a feeling that all the people, especially casual players, who claim that MK9 is the best Mortal Kombat ever, I think if that game re-released in today's era where everyone can go on YouTube and go on social media to learn all the tricks and gimmicks for their characters, I think those same fans would hate MK9 in like a month because they'd be facing people in every match that know all the gimmicks and all the cheap stuff. And they'd be like, wait, so Jax just gets a guaranteed unblockable and I can't avoid it without combo breaker? Yes. Wait, so Quan Chi just gets to loop his unblockable like 4 times in a row and I can't escape it? Yes. Wait, so Noob Saibot gets this almost guaranteed portal setup that I can't get away. Smoke gets a guaranteed reset. Like, Cyrax gets an 80% legit combo that he can drain my meter halfway through. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're naming
I
a
think
lot of
those
fun
people would
stuff.
learn real quick. In other words, I think they like MK9 because when it came out, one, online was terrible. So you weren't playing online for the most part. And two, people didn't do it wasn't as common for players to do a deep dive into how to get cheap or good with their character. You just kind of picked up and played. But now, like even the average like casual fighting game player will still watch like 5 or 6 YouTube videos about how to play their character and learn some gimmicks and stuff. And I think that in MK9 would get a lot of people frustrated because every character had some nonsense gimmick.
Yeah, it is.
But what are your thoughts on that?
So this is actually you kind of brought up the next topic I was gonna, kind of maybe, um, yeah, you like indirectly brought up my next topic as I was actually gonna mention. But so Dave, my co-host that I do this podcast with, um, he would definitely have words to say about this. But he's on the fence of a lot of people just have rose tinted glasses, but in terms of like from an FGC perspective, I do think modern tournament players, a majority of them have like a very fragile uh, tolerance or low tolerance for anything broken, whether it be an MK9 or
Mhm.
even modern games like MK1, maybe to some degree like Tekken 8. Like uh, I enjoy the games like uh, today and I did back then. And I do think they're super obnoxious, but like I'm in the camp of like a lot of the time things that are fun are usually imbalanced because like MK11 is my least favorite game, for example, and they tried super hard to like restrict a lot of things, whether it be the variation system, um, moves list in general. Like they just didn't have like as many plus frames off your normals and strings or special moves. Things were mostly moving at a slower pace. They gave you a bunch of different mechanics, like or defensive mechanics off the ground, like for any air quote oppressive offense. Like in my opinion, I think people are just going to complain regardless of like the power level that exists in the game. So like it could be a broken power level like MK9, or it could be a very stale and maybe more balanced and controlled meta that MK11 has. People are still going to complain regardless. So, in
Mhm.
my opinion, devs, NRS speaking specifically, going forward, in my opinion, should just go balls to the wall, like with their next game, and they're gonna have to reinvent the wheel one more time, unfortunately. But I think they should follow a lot of aspects from MK9 and some of MKX, and even some of MK1, uh, going into their next game because I think MK9's execution barrier is way less beginner friendly for competitors because like I don't like that characters like Homelander exist in a competitive environment because he's pretty easy to pick up, but he's also very effective at a competitive level. So he's not that hard to master compared to some characters like maybe Garrus or Shang Tsung. Like I have like 1,300 hours in MK1, and Garrus is like a super high skill ceiling character. Like you're not gonna be able to pick up Garrus as fast as you would be able to pick up Homelander, and you
Mhm.
also get like a top three, top two character with Homelander. Whereas with Garrus, you get like a maybe number 12, 11 ranked
Yeah.
character, but you're
Mhm.
having to work less with Homelander when mastering him. So like,
Yes.
I miss that aspect of MK9. Cabal. He was the best character in the game, and I'm sorry if I'm going on a tangent, but Cabal in MK9 was debatably the hardest character to master, or one of.
Mhm.
His Nomad Dash cancels, his Air Gas Blast, like they had to be really low, especially against like the smaller hurt box characters, like the females. Otherwise, your zoning wasn't going to be strong enough, and your opponent's going to get in. Your cancels had to be crispy because if you messed up, they block your Nomad Dash. You're getting full comboed, and there was just you got to press the buttons really fast, So there's a lot that goes into a lot of the characters in that MK9 and in Injustice One to some degree. Uh, MK9 and Injustice One are my two favorite games, and like the archetypes I had in MK9 and Injustice One were some of the coolest in my opinion. Um, and the execution barrier was a lot higher. It was just like, and I know some of it is relative to the time. Like the community was a lot smaller back then. Uh, me personally though, I think the characters back then were harder to master than the characters we have now, and I feel like that kind of hinders the competitive integrity a little bit, and it almost makes competing frustrating sometimes because Homelander, for example, beats Garrus pretty bad, and I don't mind bad matchups, but it just kind of frustrates me that somebody that puts less time into Homelander can beat me just because he's got a easier like skill barrier of entry and is also just top tier. Whereas Garrus, you invest more into him to get a worse character. Like I don't know. So
Mhm.
I do
Yeah.
think people would complain regardless, though, if it's going back to an old game or sticking to like modern developed fighting games. And I think that's just a FGC problem more so than a
Yeah.
dev problem.
Well, it's such a long going issue that there was that famous quote from a Street Fighter player, Sanford Kelly. He straight up said, "Pick a top tier. Like, stop complaining if you want to win and pick a top tier. Like, do you want to have fun or do you want to win? Because you can't say I want to win and then pick a character that's hard to win with. But on that same note, I understand like that it's frustrating if the game's not balanced. I think it's you can do a mix, like a healthy mix of this character is a bit cheap, but like this other character has a better reward for putting time in. You've got to find that balance between characters. And it's funny you mentioned like how the tolerance for nonsense in like the competitive scene has gotten lower and lower. Like you don't want anything cheap, because I think for casuals that's the truth also. And it's funny because despite MK11 having some cheap nonsense in it, I found it funny how a very specific example was RoboCop in MK11, where they banned one of his moves straight up. You couldn't use it in ranked or competitive play because it had a bug. But the bug to me is so minor compared to what characters used to be able to do. And even in MK11, it wasn't that overpowered. But RoboCop had this gimmick where he could hit you with the flamethrower and spend a meter on it, and you'd be so plus on hit that you could guarantee a command grab afterwards, and the opponent had no way to avoid it. It was a guaranteed command grab.
Oh,
So
I think
NetherRealm
that's
banned
the
those two
acid
moves.
bomb you're talking about. I think that's
Acid bomb? Oh, okay.
yeah, I think it's the acid grenade because I think it restands and then yeah, I think Foxy Grandpa was utilizing that free command
Of
grab
course he would do
setup.
that. Of course Foxy Grandpa would troll with the cheap stuff. I love him. One throw, two throw, But yeah, that was banned, and I thought, but combined, that's just like not very much damage. It's only like an extra 11% damage on top of what he already did, but that's banned. Meanwhile, Kotal Khan had the down 4 into his unblockable that was guaranteed because his down 4 was so plus on hit
Yeah, I
that you just
remember
had to eat
that.
the unblockable. I'm like, that's way more damage than the RoboCop thing. And RoboCop, in my opinion, was never really a complete character. He was just like special moves the character because his up close game was garbage.
Yeah, I agree. And
Um,
I honestly, I think he was one of the more overrated characters. Like some people
I
had
was
him
so
in A
upset.
tier. Like I have him like low tier. Like I think people again just have a very low tolerance for any kind of projectile
Annoying keep
game.
away,
Yeah, like at a high level
especially in
at
Mortal
that game,
Kombat.
like
Yeah.
you could just flawless block his projectiles at a high level. Like M2 Dave actually played RoboCop a lot, so I had a lot of XP through him. And
Mhm.
he's like, dude,
I like that. A lot of XP.
like
I farmed the XP
like
off my buddy.
he literally he was just like, yeah, I can't keep you out. Like I gotta pick Kotal Khan when I fight you now. Like so because he I would just flawless block his gunshots. Uh, and then RoboCop, if he did the rifle in a combo, like the boom 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 like Cobra rifle, you could actually break away the first hit super immediately. And if they
Yeah.
meter burned it as RoboCop, you could get punished for meter burning it because the two shots will whiff and you go under recovery frames long enough to where the person that broke away can get up and punish you. And a lot of people didn't do that against RoboCop. And it's just like again the breakaway system. Don't even get me started on that. I don't ever want to see that again.
It was
But
so
like,
weird. I understand the idea behind it though. It was never gonna work, but I think I understand what the idea was, and I'm not sure if I ever stated it in a video, but I think the idea behind Breakaway is that NetherRealm wanted the combo breaker to become interactive. Not just like I do it and get out of the combo. They wanted there to be a counter to it. They wanted there to be, oh, when I choose to combo break is like a big deal. Not just as early as possible, but finding the right time to break away. I think that was the idea. So on paper, I get what they were going for, but holy shit, it was not fun.
no,
It
it was not. I despised it, man. And
was
you would get
also
it on
shockingly
accident too.
unresponsive too. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so it was irresponsive at times. Like it was almost like weird in the sense of like irresponsive as like the input bug in MK9. Like you would be buffering breakaway in the middle of trying to escape a combo, and I think the opponent's inputs, and this is my theory. This is what it just felt like as a competitive player. Um, it felt like when I was inputting breakaway, it wouldn't come out, and I think it had something to do with the opponent's inputs, like eating your breakaway input. That's what it felt like to me, and that also it just made trying to break away purposely inconsistent sometimes too. So not only was it annoying to fight against because you could get punished for comboing somebody, but when you're trying to actually break away, it just sometimes wouldn't come out. Or the
Yeah.
reverse would happen. If they break away, your input gets eaten sometimes. Because I remember I would input like a special move, like as Garrus with the sand trap, because that's his armor break. I would try to do like forward 3 armor break after like the bed of spikes choke, and
Yeah.
I would get the forward 3, but because they broke away at the same time I dialed my special move, I guess my special move would get eaten and it wouldn't come out. And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
like I read that breakaway and my special didn't come out. Like, what the hell? So, yeah, there was so much with the breakaway system. and yeah, it's just oh my god, it's so frustrating. But yeah, I do think people just have a low tolerance for any type of keep away, like going back to like the RoboCop comment and stuff like that. And again, whether it's a high or low power level, I think people are just going to complain regardless.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100%.
And if I may add to like so the breakaway thing, like I do understand like the concept they were going for, but like, are you familiar with Sindel and MK1? Her like anti-breaker, like status move or whatever. It's like she does like I think it's called Inspire or something. If you like meter burn it, she'll
Mhm.
have like this purple aura, and if
Yeah.
you try to break against her with the purple aura active, she'll punish you for breaking. Essentially,
Mhm.
like you familiar with that at
Yeah.
all?
Yeah, I just never really saw it too much. But I do know that she had that because they explained it all the way back in the combat cast.
Yeah, yeah. So I
And I thought
think
that's super over P. I mean, I thought that was OP, but then I realized people pretty much just did constant resets with her anyway, so it didn't get used too often. But go ahead, sorry.
no, no, you're good. So if they did want to do like a breakaway kind of like a or an anti-breaker kind of thing, like I think what they could do is like if you've ever seen that move trigger before, like I think what they should do is if they want breakers to have counterplay, they should give characters a special move that isn't only for it should be balanced, varying from character to character. Like, but for example, Garrus's time stop move that he freezes you with and comes down with the elbow drop.
Yeah.
Uh, if I think my opponent's gonna break her, so I do like one single hit because you can't break a single hit. It has to be like two hits.
Yeah.
If I read a breaker on the very first available moment it's coming, and I do like stand one into time stop, that should be my anti breaker move, and it should have like the Sindel effect, and it should like how when Sindel anti breakers you, the screen does like the breaker animation, but then she ends up doing some animation and then you get launched. Uh,
Mhm.
Garrus should be able to launch you in some way similar to that if I specifically do time stop as you're breaking. And then if you
That'd
don't
be cool.
break
Yeah.
her, like then I just get my knockdown, and I'm not getting punished. There's no way for me to get punished at all for doing that, like with breakaway.
Yeah.
So
Does does Garrus have any moves that can't be combo broken? Because some characters in MK1 just straight up do. Like it says in the move list, this can't be combo broken.
Sandstorm is his unbreakable move. The
Okay.
Sandnado. That's his
Mhm.
only unbreakable move.
Gotcha.
And
I
then
find it funny how that was in every game. People just didn't know that. I made a full video about how in MK11, MKX, MK9, every character had some moves that, not every character, but every game had moves that couldn't be combo broken. It's just in MK1 they finally tell you. But in MKX, for example, Trimmer could just keep doing the molten rock roll over and over again, and you couldn't combo break that.
yeah, I'm
So
pretty sure I actually helped you with the knowledge on that video or
yes, you did actually.
because
Now that you mentioned that, yeah.
I suggested Shinnok's Hell Sparks, yeah, Molten Lava with Tremor. Forgot the other ones, but yeah, I know
For
Hell
some
Sparks
characters, it
was
was
one
very
of them.
busted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hell Sparks was crazy.
It was the
Um,
funniest in MK9 because you just couldn't combo break projectiles. So Shang
yeah,
Tsung at a
mhm.
casual level had a huge advantage because you just couldn't combo break him. Now, at competitive level, he wasn't that great. Just because, I mean, you had to be kind of broken in MK9 to be good. And Shang Tsung, ironically, is pretty honest. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Typically, the NRS projectiles are unbreakable, unclashable. Like Freddy's ground claws. Yeah, like you said, MK9 Shang's skulls. His soul steel is actually unbreakable too, which is pretty cool. Like I
That was a
like that stuff.
restand, yeah.
Yeah, I like
Hmm.
it. I do like those aspects of projectiles. It's pretty cool. Um,
I think having moves that can't be broken is really fun. I think that, though, there should be maybe a visual way to know that it can't be combo broken for the player. Otherwise, they're going to be like raging. Why can't I combo break here?
oh, I
But
see. I see. Like a visual in game, like whether it's
yeah, maybe
unbreakable
the
or not.
character has like a glow around them or something to show that it can't be combo broken, or maybe just have it be one move that can't be looped. So, for example, Trimmer's like molten rock roll is a bit unfair because you can just keep doing it like 7, 8 times. you know? And that's going to frustrate a casual player because combo breaker is not combo breaking. But Shang Tsung doing his soul steal or his projectiles is at least universal because no one else can have their projectiles broken either. So it feels at least consistent.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
some meter burn attacks like are unbreakable too, even if it's not a projectile. Like trying to think of an example, but um, I guess a majority of the time it is a projectile. If an example comes to mind, I'll bring it up. But um, like I think if you're gonna have like those egregious unbreakable like combos like Tremor, it should cost like a resource. You know, it shouldn't be something you can do 24/7. Like it should be like a more niche scenario, like Sindel, for example, in MK1. To get like any type of unbreakable damage, she has to do uh, meter burn hairball, float cancel, meter burn hairball, float cancel, and just do that for as many times as she wants to spend her meter. So at most, she's only doing it 3 times, but she can hit you with like 4 aerial hairballs for unbreakable damage, and there's like an execution barrier behind it too. But for all 3 bars, she can do some decent unbreakable damage. She doesn't have access to it 24/7 because it's tied to her meter, but I think that's like a healthy way of having like some unbreakable damage.
Yeah. And like honestly, as we're talking about this, I remember one of my takes that I often have when playing Mortal Kombat, because I play so many other fighting games, and I sometimes have this thought of just remove combo breaker, just actually balance the characters, actually balance the combos, and you shouldn't need combo breaker or do what Guilty Gear does, where you get like one per round, and you got to pick when you use it, you know? Because so many other fighting games, like Tekken, for example, the combos go way higher than Mortal Kombat for the most part. You can do almost touch of death combos in Tekken, and there's no combo breaker. You know, you get hit and just hold that. And that's kind of how I feel about a lot of fighting games. Like, you know, same with the tag fighting games. Those combos can be crazy long,
Yeah,
and there's no breaker. It's like just deal with it. You got hit.
yeah.
You know,
Marvel
just own
3
it.
comes to mind for that.
That's
Unbreakable
why I was
death
kind of shocked.
combos.
Exactly. I was kind of shocked in 2XKO that they included a combo breaker because those games infamously don't have combo breakers, like the tag fighters. But I like that 2XKO has that because just like with MK1, that's the one game where I think you need a combo breaker because there are setups that are either extremely difficult to avoid or some are just straight up guaranteed. Like you can't avoid this. It's going to happen. So you need combo breaker to avoid this like setup. You know,
Yeah, I know some
with the
people.
unblockable Jax ground pound things that are like guaranteed in the right situation. It's like, well, that's kind of unfair. So combo breaker needs to be there, you know?
Yeah, NRS hasn't brought back anything like from MK9 as far as like the resets and stuff goes. As much as I did enjoy doing them or fighting against them, I know they are pretty egregious. So, but I feel like Flawless Block is a good balance for like if you have Breaker because MK9 and MKX characters like there is no counterplay to building meter, you know. But with Flawless Block, I know it was introduced in MK11, but they had regenerating meter in 11, and so
Yes.
it didn't really apply. But Flawless Block in MK1, you don't gain meter as the person being aggressive if your stuff gets
Mhm.
Flawless Blocked. And I think that really solves the meter problem that we've had in our games because characters like MKX Melina, she had like a 5 hitting string, like the forward 1 2, like 4 or something,
Mhm.
and the more hits you made somebody block, the more damage or the more meter you would build, and especially if you canceled in like a special move, so like you would just build like super easy building bar, like just build bar super easily, and with
I'm getting
flawless block though.
PTSD. Yeah.
With flawless block that you don't have to worry about that too much though as far
Yeah.
as if you have
I
the
love it.
execution of flawless block like I think that's always been a complicated issue for interested balance and I feel like flawless block solves that.
I love having more defensive options in a fighting game, but just real quick, you reminded me of that nonsense that was in MKX with Kung Lao's hat toss. You could do it 4 times in the same block string.
Oh
Ding,
yeah, the plus 29 orbiting
ding,
hat.
ding, and you could do it 4 times because by the time he did it three, he built the fourth bar. Just like Scarlet and MK9, you could do that crazy kunai cancel and do it 4 times in the same combo, same block string. Sorry, that was nuts.
Yeah.
That's why I never understood why you build meter when the opponent blocks, when it's always been the opposite for other fighting games, where you build meter by blocking or getting hit. Whereas the aggressor doesn't really need an incentive because they're already the aggressor. Isn't it already advantageous that it's your turn? Like, shouldn't that be the advantage? But I don't know.
It's I know like competitors are probably concerned like, oh, they don't want defense to be too strong. You don't want to reward the defending person to too much meter for just sitting there blocking and stuff like that. And again, that goes back to like the whole, I think modern FGC players, the majority of the time, are just fragile in terms of
Yeah, that's kind of a weird.
goes. Like,
That's a weird perspective for MK though, because it's a series that's always had like a ton of mix-ups. So if you think, oh, I'm gonna block and build meter, it's like you better be fucking careful. There's
yeah,
a lot
you
of
better,
mix-ups in this
you better
game.
be guessing right, or you just
Every second you're blocking is scary in another realm game. Like, you don't want to be blocking.
yeah.
Now that said, I was going to bring up Street Fighter 6 because that game has so many get off me tools, and they each have their own strengths and weaknesses, which I think Mortal Kombat could learn from. It has a parry, which is kind of like the flawless block in Mortal Kombat, but it also has that drive impact where you absorb a hit, you absorb two hits and like smack the opponent in the face and get a full combo off it. That's fun too, but that can be thrown and it loses to super. So you've got to be very careful not to spam that move. It seems really good, like, oh, I just get to escape block pressure, and it's like, no, you don't. And of course, you can always just go for a super, but a super can be blocked and full combo punished. Except that first month in MK1, where some of those fatal blows were dastardly and very hard to punish. Same with MK11. That was Sonic Fox's main complaint during the beta. He was like, bro, some of these fatal blows are nuts. You can't even punish them.
No, yeah, that's one of the many balance things that I really wish they would be more like aware
Consistent
of.
with.
It's
Yeah.
just, I don't understand why our super moves are super hard to punish. Like, they're all unbreakable. They're hard to, they hit hard, you know, and MK1 specifically, a lot of them don't really, they have generous damage scaling. Like, Garrus can hit for 50 with one bar and a fatal blow.
Mhm.
And as much as I love Garrus, I don't like the possibility. Like, it's just too much robbery factor in my opinion. Like, if I
Have you hit anybody with the Janet Garrus combos that I've seen on Twitter where he's doing like 80%?
the 80%er specifically, no. But I have made like some cool brutality like montages with Janet and Garrus.
It's just hype. Even if it's just like 60%, it's still like, damn, like, hold this, shake my hand.
Yeah, that the Garrus Janet combo is like pretty specific. Like, the majority of the damage is actually coming from Janet and Garrus. It's kind of funny. But like, yeah, fatal blow, like, it shouldn't be as safe as it is. Like, Kenshi's pushes you so far away. Homelander's like is like 3 hits and pushes you like almost full screen. So you have to either go for an awkward punish that isn't as damaging, or you just flat out can't punish it as some characters. And that,
How do you
like,
feel
those are
about
just obvious signs that shouldn't exist. Like, and also like pre-patch fatal blow from Cameo Sector, like where the missile locked onto you. When that was in its prime, it was so unhealthy because you literally couldn't punish it as most of the roster because it would track you, so you couldn't duck it because it was mid at the time. And if you blocked it from anywhere past like half screen, you just weren't going to punish it for at least for high damage, if at all. And then your fatal blow would come back and you would just fish for it again and again. And I just don't like that. Like, that fatal blow specifically should have had like a one-time use before they nerfed it into the ground.
Yeah, it's very weird how they don't get basic stuff like that consistent, especially for Mortal Kombat games, because for the past 2 games, it's been the same requirement for everybody. You get low on health, you unlock your fatal blow. So it makes no sense why they're not treated more universally. I understand basic balancing, like, say, for example, if your fatal blow has crazy good range, it should probably do less damage because you're getting that huge range benefit, you know, of like punishing stuff. Like Garrus says in MK11, for example, the fucking vacuum cleaner of doom.
Yeah.
It caught you from like half screen, almost like 3/4 screen away. That could probably do less damage because it's such a good fatal blow utility wise. Same with Cabal. He runs the opposite way on the screen. So the further away you are, the actual more in danger you are of his fatal blow. So that I understand that did less damage, whatever. But as far as being like almost impossible to punish on block, that makes no sense. That serves zero purpose
Yeah, I
because it should
agree.
always be a full combo punish. You know?
Yeah, I agree. And
That's
like,
how every other game does it. Like every other game.
I know a lot of people like fatal blows in the regards of combos. Like, they don't want it to be like X-ray to where it costs all your meter because historically X-rays and super moves from Injustice were like usually pretty useless because they didn't have like very generous damage scaling. It was
Yeah.
all of your resources, and it
Hmm.
almost was usually never worth it over just doing a regular combo or clashing in Injustice.
Hmm. Hmm.
So like,
But also, it sucks to like give your opponent their best weapon from beating their ass. I understand
yeah,
that too. No one likes thinking like, "Oh, I gave you that fatal blow." At least in MK1, they finally added a screen freeze, and I kind of got satisfaction from every scrub that cried like, "Well, now I can't hit them with it because the stupid screen freeze." And I'm like, "Good,
yeah, no, that's how it
scrubby
should
little
be.
fucker."
The screen freeze makes a difference too. Like I'm very welcoming to that change, and
Hmm.
I think like I do like the aspect of it being able to be used in combos for like you spend 1 bar of meter into fatal blow or whatever you cash out on all resources into fatal blow. Like I do like that aspect, but because if you made it like a super move to where it spent all your resources like in prior games, it would be kind of difficult to balance and you wouldn't really be able to do it in combos too much outside of meterless ones. I think instead of like 30% health you unlock fatal blow, they should make it like 10% health or something, like lower the health pool. Like
Yeah.
when a Pokemon is in red health territory and the music starts playing because they're in critical health, like it should be more of a critical danger health value than 30%. Like 30% is like a third of your life bar for most
Yeah,
characters.
I'd say they should just copy Street Fighter 6, honestly, where there's two different sets of meter. There's the meter for your special moves, and there's the meter for your super. I think just do that. That way, there's still some intelligence involved. You have to actually build your super. You have to actually, build your EX, is what they call it for special moves. Though the difference with Street Fighter 6 is there's 3 different supers for each character. So it's like, do you want to use your level 1 super right away to end a combo, get some more damage, or do you want to save up for that big level 3? You know? And I
Yeah,
like that. Then when you're below that threshold of like 30%, like 25% health, your level 3 becomes a critical art. It does a bit more damage than a regular level 3. And that's fun. The only downside is pretty much everyone at the casual level, even at the tournament level to an extent, just holds on to that level 3 because it's such an amazing comeback factor. So
yeah, no,
they tried to,
yeah,
yeah, they tried to alleviate that a little bit with some characters like C Viper because her level 1 is an install. It gives her like a buff to her moves.
yeah.
So they're trying to incentivize more level 1s, but at the end of the day, most players aren't watching their meter, so they're gonna get that level 3. They're gonna sit on it.
My only thing with Street Fighter's meter, if and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm kind of washed up on the Street Fighter side. I play Zangief, but I don't think
Hell
you
yeah.
have there's you can't do anything else with your meter besides use the super moves that it's tied to, right? Like it's only for the super moves, if I'm not mistaken, right?
There's 2 meters in Street Fighter 6. Yeah, there's a meter that's like for your EX attacks.
Yeah, the one in the
So
corner for your like for the super meter,
it's in the
it's in the
bottom of the
corner.
screen, and the top
Yeah,
is your specials. Yeah. Whereas before in a lot of games it was the same thing. So in Street Fighter 4, and I think even Street Fighter 5, you had the same for both. Like your EX meter was for supers or special moves, but finally they separated them in 6, and that makes way more sense because it lets you be more liberal with your special moves and stuff, which is what I want to see, honestly. I want to be able to use my special moves more often, like my enhanced special moves. And I also, when I'm watching competitive play, I want to see more hype stuff happening. So anything that makes the player feel more free to use their EX meter, otherwise known as like their special move meter, that's what I want. I want the players to feel free to use that and not worry like, oh, I lost my super, or oh, I lost my combo breaker. I want those to be separate things. I think combo breaker could be its own separate meter, and maybe you get once per round, and then you have a separate meter for special moves, and then fatal blow can stay as it is, or fatal blow could be its own separate meter, but that would need to be workshopped a bit. You don't want to have too many meters because then you end up like BlazBlue and and Guilty Gear and stuff. But uh, yeah, I hate when it's tied to. I don't want to go back to how MKX and MK9 did it. I do not want the fatal blow or the big X-ray move to be tied to the regular special move meter. That sucks.
Yeah, I agree. It is kind of extreme in terms of like the combo freedom and stuff with it. My only issue
And
with
again,
Street Fighter's meter is like you're
mhm.
only using it for supers, as far as I know. So like, there's no incentive to not use it other than just maybe fishing for like, instead of stage 2, I'm about to go for the stage 3. Like, that's my only
Yeah, the
issue
only
with
reason
the super meter in
that's the
that
main
game.
reason. Or if you're like me and you're playing characters that don't have invincible special moves to like get the opponent off you, then you also save your super to level 3, so you have 3 level 1s because maybe your level 1 super is actually invincible. So that's your get off me tool. That's the only other reason why you would save your super meter. Otherwise, it does just build to level 3 because you're not using it.
Oh yeah,
And then
that's a good
sometimes
point.
I'll be honest with you, Mr. Voorhees. Sometimes I say just get rid of super moves. They're not needed. After I see them the first week, I'm already tired of them. Just keep the regular gameplay back and forth. Because in reality, all supers do is pause the game for 5 seconds. You know?
Yeah, and some people do like, and again, not to keep harping on the modern competitors thing, but like some people are complaining that some of these combos or cinematics are too long, and I'm like, well, do you want combos to exist to begin with? Like, I'm somebody that's for combos. Like, I want to see combos.
Yeah.
Like, as long as there's an execution barrier behind them, I really don't see the problem in combos being that long. Like, as long as it's not like historically in Mortal Kombat standards, like most combos, especially in the older games, are like pretty snappy, fluid. Not They don't drag on usually for too long, except like maybe MK9 Cyrax, MK9 Smoke. But for the most part, most combos are pretty snappy and fast, and have that execution barrier. And um, this is partly part of uh, what I wanted to dive into next in the next topic. Like maybe not, uh, maybe a little outside the competitive gameplay or gameplay in general, but like just like outside the gameplay, like some features like you would want to see, um, actually with the gameplay, like animation wise, like do you like the pace of MK1's gameplay, like, or is it too slow? Is it not fast paced enough, or is it like a good
Well,
pace in your opinion? Like, because to me,
MK1 is definitely
MK1 is a
faster.
little clunky.
Yeah.
Like in terms of animation, like MK1's a lot slower
Hmm.
pace and clunky. Hits are
Yeah.
like finishing very slowly. Like it takes like 100 some animation frames for like Garrus's forward two. It's like punch, kick, punch. But like
I see what you
MK9
mean. I
Johnny is
see.
like knee kick kick kick. Like it's way more fast, snappy. Uh, or Havoc's back 2-2 string. It's like punch, punch, kick, and then you have Scorpion and like MKX where it's like punch, punch, kick, like 2-1-4, like with Hellfire or something.
Mhm.
And I don't know how you feel about that, but like I think that's a lot of in terms of gameplay at least. Like MK is straight away from like the fast paced, fluid, not as clunky gameplay that I miss.
As someone who's always played pretty much all the fighting games, at least the mainstream ones, NetherRealm games have always had this weird problem of feeling like you're a bit muddy, like your feet are in quicksand or something. Because it's odd since Tekken is slower frame wise than Mortal Kombat. The fastest move in Tekken is 10 frames, right? The fastest move in Mortal Kombat is like 6 or 7 frames. So it is faster, but it doesn't feel faster. When you're playing it, it doesn't feel as smooth, doesn't feel as fluid. Like you said, during some strings, it just takes way too long for it to finish because they don't speed it up. They don't take enough time to make it feel quick and responsive. But also, even on blocks, sometimes a move will have way more blocks done than it should. Or if I'm the one making the opponent block, I feel like I should recover from my move faster than I do. And it's always had that problem. Always. Whereas Street Fighter and Tekken really don't, because somebody is really polishing those moves to feel smooth, to feel like you can move when you should be able to move. All that stuff. So that's always been a NetherRealm issue, unfortunately. Some moves are way too slow. Even after you land the hit, like your Garrus example, you've landed the hit. You're not complaining that it's too slow for the first hit. You're complaining that the whole string takes way too long to finish. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, so like, do you think that issue started in MK9 or MK11,
I think
MKX,
MK9
or?
felt pretty fast, honestly, didn't it? Like, I don't
Yeah,
think
it did.
MK9 had too big of an issue. The problem with MK9 was something different, where there was terrible hitboxes, so you could like slip under moves that weren't meant to be slipped under.
Yeah,
Um,
that's like a whole another can of worms too. Like,
mhm. I made a whole
uh,
video about that, like how NetherRealm takes shortcuts, and instead of making hitboxes, they just parent cubes to the characters like joints. So they'll parent a cube to like their fist and foot. And as long as you avoid that cube with your own character's cube, you don't get hit. And it's like, that's so lazy. Just make an actual hitbox. It's a 2D fighting game. You can make a, that's the whole benefit of a 2D fighting game, is you can have exact control of where the moves hit. And Tekken, it gets a bit more complicated, where you have to use those like spheres and cubes around joints in the rig of the character, because their moves are 3D. You know, they're like a spinning back kick is like, it covers a lot of space. You have to actually put something on it that tracks the move in real time. But in a 2D fighting game, you don't have to do that. Just make the hitbox. Just go into fucking Microsoft Paint, make your cubes and your squares, and take the extra, like, I know it's probably a whole extra day of work. That's okay. Take the extra day of work to make those, because then when it comes time to tweak them, it's super easy. You just change the size of the box. And then you have some games like Skullgirls. You ever seen Skullgirls hitboxes?
I have not.
Because that game was made by fighting game fans, like fighting game lovers made Skullgirls. It has the most attention to detail in hitboxes you've ever seen in your life. I'll show you a picture. Look at this.
Let me see what you're talking
Every
about.
character has this.
Oh, that's pretty
They
cool.
put like 90 cubes.
Yeah, so dang, yeah, I see. I have seen like some like Melee's scene is pretty good with showing hitboxes. Like they have like that slippy online, like they literally developed an online way to play Melee, and you know, there's all sorts of mods that they made for the game, and like one of them being like hitbox like demonstrations or whatever. And I'm just like, dude, this is really cool. And like I think Street Fighter has like a in-game practice mode for like hitboxes and stuff like that, and that's like one of the things that NRS is like kind of lacking in the training mode department. But like, yeah, it would, if that is the issue of why that previous NRS games have had like hurtbox issues, especially with like the female characters, like most of their down threes and down fours like low profiled a lot of stuff. Like, I really hope they touch up on that more, because MK1 is the best in terms of hitbox and hurtbox issues. Like, there's very few instances where things are getting low profile than MK1, so I give them
Yeah.
big props for that.
Well, MK11 was one of the more egregious ones, where all the females had a unique hurt box and they could duck under
Yes.
so many things.
Yep.
It was pretty funny though. I like the running inside joke that Johnny Cage was weak against all the females,
Yeah, force balls just whiffed on most of them.
and also
Yeah.
Raiden, because for some reason Raiden had a low crouch.
Yeah.
um,
I'm really
but
glad they
yeah, I mean,
polished that
I
up.
do wish. So the thing is, MK9 doesn't have bad animations anymore. They don't look janky or anything. Whereas MK9, they look kind of janky. MKX like fixed it a bit. MK11 looked pretty good for the most part. There were some funny remnants of it, like Aaron Black's down four looked very funny. His little spin
Yeah,
kick that he did.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So some of them still looked like weird and kind of fast forwarded, but the new issue is they gotta find a way to keep it fast. And I hate to keep glazing Street Fighter 6. I seem like such a fanboy, but I feel like Street Fighter 6 found the perfect mix where the combos never feel too long, but they're still impressive when somebody hits you with them. Like, damn, I can tell that was hard, even though it lasted less than 7 seconds. I could tell that was a like a hard combo to do. And that said, you can also spend all your meter in Street Fighter 6 if you want to on one combo. And then it gets a bit longer, but there's a trade-off. You become gassed, or burnout they call it, and you just become a shitty character for like 10 seconds.
Oh
So,
yeah, but being gassed under Zangief is, he has no defensive options really outside of his level 2 and 3. So I definitely
if you play
feel
modern,
that.
he does. You play modern, he has that one frame super. You just press the two buttons. But yeah, otherwise, no. I love modern Zangief, how it got so many players to be like, I'm a Street Fighter fan now. I love my one button SPDs and my I love my instant level 3. So good.
Yeah, those are hilarious to mess with. Some of those, yeah, I mess up the full circle input sometimes to this day. Sadly, I don't get that input execution for the Street Fighter side.
Are you doing the cheat where you don't have to do a full circle? You can just do like three
Yeah, it's
quarters
like
of a
what I
circle.
said.
Yeah.
Three quarters. Yeah, my one of our local players, THTB, told me about that some years ago.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That was always
it's a very
fun.
neat
Like
trick.
during the early days of Street Fighter, oh sorry, of fighting games becoming mainstream, was teaching all your buddies all the little gimmicks and cheats. And it's like you don't have to do a full circle. And they're like, what? It's like, yeah, watch this. You start it back, you go to up forward, and then you just before you jump, you press the punch button. You don't got to do a full
Yeah,
360. And they're like, no way. It's like, yeah, now watch this. You can do a 720 while doing a different special move. And then when your special move finishes, your super comes out.
that's pretty
And
much how I felt when I got taught the method.
mhm. But I just love modern Zangief. I saw this one guy trying to complain. I think it was some popular YouTuber like Mighty Keef or maybe even Corey Kenshin maybe, but he was like, guys, I try to get into fighting games and then this shit happens. And he's playing a regular game of Street Fighter 6. He's fighting Zangief and they're doing footsies back and forth, right? Then he dashes at Zangief, gets level 3'd. And I'm like, but why'd you dash though? Why'd you dash in neutral? There's no reason to forward dash in neutral. Just walk.
That's funny. Oh man. Yeah.
Uh,
So like, that's one of the things I would like to see go back to like the tradition like of MK is like the amount of animation that's put into like these strings and normals. Because even like when you land some of these attacks, like you know how if you're maybe enforcing your Oki on somebody, you usually throw like a poke in there or something to play it on the safe side. Like you maybe don't
yeah.
go for a full string all the time. And like sometimes if your opponent tries to jump out on Oki, like they try to wake up jump or something and your poke lands, there's so many animation frames on that poke that you can't really pick up off your poke like you can in the old games because there's just so much animation to it on hit and on block. And
Mhm,
it just eliminates any kind of possibilities for combo freedom. And that's
mhm.
just like kind of an execution barrier that's also just not really all the time possible because you're just not even able to make the conversion at times depending on how high that you land that poke and set example.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I in general, I'm just bad at Oki in Mortal Kombat 1 because of the delayed wake up. And the fact there's so many, maybe I'm just ignorant. I don't like learn a lot of the more deep stuff in this regard, but I don't know if every character has a way to force a hard knockdown or to create a hard knockdown. Whereas in other fighting games, you can, like a sweep in other games is like guaranteed hard knockdown, no
Yeah.
matter which character you're playing. And I like that. I kind of wish Mortal Kombat would do stuff like that, where there's a way to end your combo for a bit less damage, but you get guaranteed hard knockdown. They can't delay. They have to either wake up or like, block. I like that. That's my preferred situation. I hate how even in MK1, there's so many variables to how they can get up. And I'm like, damn it, I just wanna be aggressive. I just wanna, you know, and there's so many ways not to. Now, once they're blocking, it's way easier to enforce your pressure. But I lost a tournament recently. I was doing better than I thought I would, and I lost a tournament because of my terrible Oki. And I was fighting a Sub-Zero player with Melina, and I was trying to hit him with the mids, like my forward one, but it's a damn dial-in, so I have to do the whole thing. And if I barely mistimed my Oki, he would just mash Ice Clone on Wake Up, and I get frozen because there's a tiny gap in between those two hits at the start, and he just squeezed out. And I'm like, damn it, man, what's a guy got to do to get good Oki?
So yeah, that's part of the. So MK1 doesn't have tech rolls actually. So every knockdown essentially is a hard knockdown. And the
Well,
issue with
mm,
MK1's like Oki system, in my opinion, is there's too many get up invincibility frames. So like you could literally
that
be
too.
like you could be doing Oki, and I know a mixture of it is the animation frames just being so slow in between each hit. So like your punch, kick, there's like a big gap that can be exploited just by wake up buttons, just because of the fact that the string or normal takes so long. And if you whiff said string or normal, there's hella recovery frames on most things in this game. But also, when you're getting up off the ground, there's just a lot of get up invincibility frames. So like I could be Garrus, for example, and his forward four low kick or his hip thrust that gets memed on a lot all the time. Like you could be standing up into that move and it'll just whiff, even though you're physically being touched by it. Like as you're getting
Yeah.
up, it's those iframes when you're getting up off the ground. There's just too much of it.
Mhm.
So that also makes it hard to enforce Oki in this game. And it's not as bad of a situation as MK11. MK11 had a lot of iframes on get up on top of wake up 2, wake up 3, the rolls, delay wake up, short delay wake up before they nerfed it. So that's not really anything that you're doing wrong. That's just kind of the game by design. That's just it kind of comes with the game, unfortunately, and that's one of the aspects I wish they would fix because we never really had an Oki issue like in MKX or MK9, especially MKX because in MK9 you could force people to stand up if they are knocked down and do delay wake up. When they're doing delay wake up and their hands are on the floor,
Yeah.
you could do like a down 3 or something and force them to stand up with a down 3. You couldn't do that in MKX.
Yep.
So I think MKX had like the best Oki system.
MK9, you could also smack them when they were on the ground if they did like the delayed get up. I think the thing too to keep in mind is that hard knockdowns, at least to me, have two requirements. It's not just not being able to tech roll. It's not being able to do anything except get up at a specific time. So, for example, in Street Fighter, if I get a hard knockdown, I know exactly when you're going to get up because you
Oh
can't do
yeah,
it delay
that's
get up
right.
even.
You can't roll
Yeah.
backwards. That's right. Yeah.
You can't roll backward.
True.
You also can't even delay getting up. You have to get up at the same exact time. It's consistent.
Yeah.
That's what I want Mortal Kombat to have more of, where I can do a move. It may be less damage, but I want a move where I can smack you, and you have to get up at that exact time and know you're going to get up. And I'll eat a wake up. That's fine. It shouldn't be guaranteed, but I should be able to at least memorize the timing. I hate that delayed wake up is always a variable. And I've told my friend, and I understand I might be wrong here. It might be a hot take, but I've always kind of thought that maybe delayed wake up should cost meter.
I think it. I personally, in terms of MK1, I don't think so. I know it's just opinions,
On
but
MK1, yeah, because there's so many setups and shit. So it'd be a bit unfair if, like, how do you avoid Jax's ground pound setups without delayed wake up? So yeah, I agree. Mhm.
like um, I mean, you do build meter fast in MK1, so maybe it wouldn't be as crazy, but I think they should. I think that is like an idea they could explore though. Like certain knockdowns should maybe disable delay get up or like I know you play Bane in the Injustice games, right?
Yeah, I did.
So like I don't know how much you played Injustice 1 Bane compared to 2 because I feel like I remember watching one of your older videos on Injustice 2, but like in Injustice 1 delay wake up didn't exist like at all.
Yeah.
So the grapplers were really good in that game because if your knockdown was hard enough or plus enough on a hit, you could get a guaranteed command grab, and essentially your opponent was forced to use a wake up attack. Otherwise, they would just get grabbed. They couldn't backdash. They couldn't hold jump, and some of that was partially because NRS didn't implement safeguards from guaranteed command throws.
Mhm.
Because in modern NRS games, you hold up, and no matter what hit stun or knockdown frames you're in, you can always hold up, or you can always backdash a command grab. If it was MKX, for example, um, you can always hold up though on a knockdown or on hit frames from to dodge a command grab in modern games. But in Injustice, that didn't exist. So in Injustice 2, Bane just received hella nerfs, mostly making his moveset like unsafe on block, like the Venom uppercut. You couldn't meter burn it on block. The elbow drop was unsafe, whereas double punch was safe from Injustice 1. And on top of that, they introduced delay wake up in Injustice 2. So like he was just super exploitable with all the nerfs he got plus delay wake up. And one of my pitches was if he's on any kind of level Venom, his special move should be hard knockdowns that you can't do delay wake up from. That way, you're not guessing a million things as the Bane player. Like Bane's like elbow drop, command grab, they all did less damage going into 2 compared to part 1 because in part 1 he just did more damage. So they nerfed his damage too. So in Injustice 2, he felt like a high risk, low reward character. You had to guess
Yeah.
right like 10 times to kill somebody, unless you got like a stand one punish. And one
Mm.
of my pitches was to make his special moves when they're under Venom to just disable delay wake up. That way, your odds of landing your mix ups as a Bane player, especially in the short window you have Venom for before going on debuff, you're kind of forced to play on the spot like as fast as possible. Like, you know, I think that would be a cool thing for NRS to explore with some character archetypes, like going forward. It'd be cool. And like you said, it would incentivize. You would have more options to play with. Like, do I want to go for full damage in this combo? Like, is it for the kill or not? If it's not for the kill, I think I'm just going to go with my hard knockdown that does less damage, or
Yeah.
whatever said situation. And those are things
Hmm.
I like to see.
It's funny you mentioned like Bane and grapplers because I've always said that I don't think NetherRealm has made a true grappler. Because a grappler is someone where their throw is the scariest thing they have, and by itself is already like a weapon. Whereas even Bane, who's the closest they've gotten, in my opinion, to like a legit grappler where he's all about the throw, he needs a lot of stuff on top of his command grab to win. You can't just scare
Grundy.
you with the command grab and then enforce it.
Yeah.
Whereas Zangief can. Zangief can win without his command grab, but that's only because you're scared of the command grab, you know? So, for example, if the Zangief player knows you're going to jump on wake up and jump during block strings, all that stuff, well, they can now air throw you or do his like lariat. There's ways to counter you jumping, but they know you're scared of the command grab. Whereas Bane, it's not really all about his command grab, is it? It's a fun
No.
command grab, but it's not what makes him scary. And NetherRealm's never understood that. They've tried to make grapplers so many times. Even Reiko in MK1, he comes pretty close because they gave him so many throws, and his throws lead to combos. But still, why does he need the combo? Why can't he just have a throw that does a flat 25%?
So that is one thing I like about NRS games is like they stray away from the Street Fighter realm or other games. Like they do their own thing, and I praise them for that in that regard because
Mhm.
like for one, I would rather Reiko and me personally, just because I'm an NRS MK fan. Like me personally, I like that Reiko has to do a combo because it doesn't feel like an MK11 crushing blow that takes zero execution to enforce. Like you're not holding a button to just shit damage like 30%. Like if you remember Devora's forward throw crushing blow from MK11, Honeybee
Yeah.
has robbed me so much with that crushing blow in tournaments. Like, and even in casuals, that's like the bugs, however many bugs he had attached, 1 through 5. It would do like an extra 2% per bug he had attached or Devora had attached to you,
Mhm.
and I would be like, man, I'm close to winning this round. I got like a 30% life lead. Boom, forward throw into 37%, and I'm just like, damn, I died. Unbreakable damage, like, and I know it's a regular throw, not
Yeah.
a command throw, but I do like how NRS like. I feel like there's less room for creativity if you do like die hard archetypes in that regard. Like, that seems more Street Fighter tradition to me, and like I don't want MK to go into that extreme archetype like um, realm,
I just
if
want
that makes
one.
sense.
I just
Like,
want one character. Because even with Kotal Khan, it's like he could buff his command grab 3 different times, you know? But even with all the buffs activated, I felt like his command grab wasn't that scary. It
okay,
was
yeah.
everything else.
So if it's
Yeah.
not like a majority of grapplers, then yeah, I agree. Like if we were making Bane and Injustice
Yeah,
3,
no,
for
I don't want
example.
everyone to have that same mold. I
Okay,
just want
okay.
one character. And because they've made like, what, 5, 6 games by now? And I feel like they've never made a traditional grappler. I just want one. I just want one character who's like, I have big health, I have good normals, not great, but they're good. And my whole plan is to get in your face and force you to make a decision. You have to either fear my grab and I'll counterplay around that, or you'll stay on the ground and I'll just fucking throw you. And my throw is my best move. I want just one character like that in another realm game, just one time.
I feel you. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool if Bane had like an aerial grab he did in the air. Like,
Mhm.
dude, if NRS gave me the like if I was just in charge of designing Bane, for example, like I already have like stupid ideas in my head from just past thoughts. I'm like, man, if I could design a character for NRS, like this is how I would do Bane. Like give him an aerial command throw, like kind of like how Zangief's air lariat grab or whatever it's called. I forgot what it's called, but he'll have an air grab like an aerial throw. Like he'll just come down with like a backbreaker or something stupid, and then he has an anti-air throw like he normally would, and then he has his grounded command throw. And I think it would be cool if he had a throw move that was blockable, like kind of like Shiva's like MK9 grab attack. Um, so it looks like a throw, but you're actually blocking it. It's like if you've ever seen that move before.
Or describe it again.
It's a it looks like a command grab, but it's a grab attack. I think that's what
In like
the
which
technical
character?
term is. Shiva in MK9,
Oh,
or
so an attack throw.
yes, an attack throw. It would be
Yeah, an
cool if he
attack
had an
throw is a move
attack
that's
throw
just a
too.
regular attack, but it looks like a throw when it lands. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Like it would be cool if Bane had like literally every kind of throw, like a grab attack throw, an aerial throw, an anti-air throw, and a regular command throw. Like that all would be really cool, like in one kit. And, the
Mhm.
just it's just yeah. Like I think that would be a pretty cool design for a grappler. Like if you really wanted that die-hard extreme grappler archetype or something.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I was kind of hoping that Shiva would be that character. And then when she came out, I was like, why does the character with 4 arms have some of the stubbiest reach? Like, I was so confused. And
Yeah,
even like, I was so hyped for her anti-air grab because people jumped like crazy in MK11. So I was so pumped. And then it had a terrible hitbox.
yeah. Honestly, I
I was
don't
like,
even
why not
remember
just
what her
make it
air throw
huge?
looks like. I forgot what
Not
her
air
air
throw,
throw
her anti-air throw. Sorry.
or anti-air throw. I forgot what that looks like, to be honest.
She just
I
grabs one
do.
hand and then throws you down and steps on you. But it's got such terrible range. Whereas an MK9, it was kind of godlike.
It was godlike in 9.
That's
It
what I
was.
wanted. I was like, oh, I can't wait to scare people with a grab. And then when they jump, I just catch them with that. And they even gave her the fake out stomp from like MK3. And that got me hype where she like does a little half jump to like bait you into jumping in the air. And then she can command grab you. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be sick. But then no, they made it terrible. It was
Yeah.
all just terrible.
Yeah, a lot of their anti-air throws have been kind of weaker over the course of the new games, unfortunately. Like, uh,
Hmm.
and I won't. I know competitive gameplay isn't like your usual like I've been kind of I could go on all day about the competitive stuff, but like I do have some other questions for you. Assuming you're not like on a time crunch, because we're 90 minutes in, I think now, 5:30 my time, 4:30 yours. So like
Yeah.
so yeah, like air throws were pretty strong in the older NRS games. Like you couldn't really jump back Solomon Grundy. His air throw had like lots of priority. It was 5 frame startup. Even MKX
Hell
Photo
yeah.
Khan's air grab was really strong in that regard. Like you could be
Hmm.
like really late on the reaction and still air like grabs anti
Hmm.
air grab somebody. And I wish they would make more
Yeah.
air grabs like that.
And Tom Brady has spoken about the anti-airs and stuff. I know he's not right about everything, but I do agree that NetherRealm is very lax on anti-airs for some reason. And I don't even like how MK9 did it because in MK9 it's like, well, jab was an anti-air for a lot of characters. I don't want it to be that stupid and brainless. Like even Street Fighter 5 had that problem. But I do think that there needs to be either a universal anti-air, like maybe uppercut is invincible to air attacks or something. Or you could just give it to where like most characters have an anti-air special move of some kind. That's what Street Fighter does. Almost every character has a move that like beats jump ins pretty outright. I think Mortal Kombat needs more of that, just because we mentioned, anti-air moves and stuff. Yeah.
I do agree that jump kicks have been the most oppressive they've been in, like starting with MK11, and they're less oppressive in MK1. But since anti-airs have been so weak, like they're not like garbage in MK1, but in MK11 they were like damn near non-existent. I feel like jump kicks just were too strong in that game, and they're still too strong in MK1 to my liking,
Yeah.
but it's not as
At least
oppressive.
at least you have up block, but maybe the consequence for up block is too high. Where if they bait you with an empty jump, they get a big fucking amount of damage off either a throw or even a low if they land early enough. So I liked an MK11 that you could flawless block it. The problem is that the reversal cost 2 bars. That was always too expensive in my opinion.
It wasn't reliable enough of an anti-air in my opinion. There was just too many timings to account for when
Oh
buffering
yeah.
flawless block. So like I'm a fan of anti-air jabs, but I do know a lot of people just didn't like the aesthetic of jab dash dab dash. That's a tongue twister, but like doing like MK9 Cyrax anti-airs with his stand one, and he's like doing 5 jabs in between dashes before doing his combo conversion. Like I know that's not really as appealing, and MKX had a better jab anti-air like aesthetic in my opinion. Like you weren't doing like jab, run up jab like in the same combo 5 times. So like combo aesthetics, I think MKX did like the jab anti-air pickups good, but like
Mhm.
I do like how strong the jab anti-airs were in MK9, and I think it would be cool, like not a universal jab anti-air for every character. I think characters should struggle or excel with their anti-air depending on like who they are. Like maybe by design, some characters should struggle with anti-air just by design. Like let's just say maybe a zoning character, for example, like he's not gonna hit you for 50 for anti-airing you like MK9 Smoke would. Like
Mhm.
maybe Quan Chi is like a zoner, and when he anti-airs you, he does like maybe on average like 20% or something, and that could be
Mhm.
part of his weakness is like he doesn't hit you that hard if he anti-airs you, or he just has a hard time in general anti-airing people. Yeah, I think it should vary from character to character, but like I do
Yeah.
agree the MK9 uh, jab anti-air aesthetic, like stand one, stand one, stand one, stand one, is like pretty monotonous. I do like how strong they are. That's what I like about the jab
Yeah, and I think
anti-airs.
some characters could have it. Like for example, in MK11, I like that Shao Kahn had it, even when he was like Dookie and considered like a
Yeah,
bottom five
his
character. He
stand
still
one
had
is
that
pretty good for
amazing
that.
anti-air jab, which made
Yes.
him fun to watch because you go bink, 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 and like get a combo off of it, and
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, say what you will about Shao Kahn, but you can't jump on him. You know, that's the one thing he's got.
Yeah, he could anti-air
uh,
pretty well actually. His down two is anti-air throw and anti-air skewer. He had a
mhm.
lot of aerial counterplay, thankfully, but everywhere else he kind of sucked, sadly.
The evolution of that character was so fun. I actually almost won a local tournament with Shao Kahn only because no one ever saw him. I beat a couple of players that were better than me, but they just didn't know a lot of the cheesy, sleazy Shao Kahn tech that I had.
The
Like how good
cheese.
his sweep is on block, for example. You block his
Yeah.
sweep and think it's my turn, and it's like, no, it's really not. I can force a down four here, and if you're faster than that, I can force a down one. And they just kept falling for it, and I get a free, frame advantage, go for a throw or go for more pressure, or they jump and I'd catch them, and I'm like, yeah, Shao Kahn might be ass, but you don't know my dirt. You
Oh
don't know my
yeah.
shenanigans.
Yeah.
So
His game plan was kind of silly in MK11.
Dash down two also very strong with Shao Kahn.
Oh yeah, the crushing blow just comes out of nowhere. Like, oh god.
I caught a Johnny Cage player with that because he loved to just randomly throw out the 4-3 with Johnny Cage, and I
Yeah.
was like, no, I will just random down two on the off chance I catch you doing that. It worked a lot. He'd roll his eyes and throw his head back, and I'm like, yeah, well, don't just throw that out then. But
So one more thing on the gameplay. I know I'm sorry I keep harping on the gameplay, but this is the last thing on the gameplay side, and I'll keep it like
sure.
a little bit on the shorter side. Um, so like in my opinion, like I've used MK9 and X examples as like things I want to see come back. And I do want to see more legacy going forward from NRS into the MK games. Like for example, Garrus is probably my favorite character to use. Like almost, oh my god, it's so hard to say, but MK1 Garrus, between MK11 Garrus and MK1 Garrus, this is easily, and I know he's only in 2 video games, but MK1 Garrus is so much cooler to play as than MK11 Garrus to me. And like, I'm bringing up Legacy because a lot of the times NRS reinvents the wheel when making these games, and I think casuals can be affected by this too. Like, because I know I've been harping on the competitive stuff, but like, um, my friends like local to me that I went to school with, for example, like, um, one of my friends doesn't like how Scorpion plays in MK1, or Liu Kang, even his main character. He doesn't like how either of them play in MK1. They just don't. He doesn't like Liu Kang. Doesn't feel like Liu Kang to him, and they changed too much in his like gameplay and his opinion. And I kind of do agree to a extent. Like he's a beautiful animated character. Like his fire moves look really cool, but like he doesn't have like the traditional bicycle kicks. Um,
Yeah.
he doesn't have like flying kick to a certain extent. Like I know like he does it at the second part of the dragon head, but like uh, it's just like so like his example, I brought him up because he's like on the casual level, and it's not like only a competitive issue, but with Garrus, and my competitive example is like MK1 Garrus. I think is easily the best iteration of Garrus by far compared to MK11 Garrus, because like you just have so much more to do as MK1 Garrus. There's so much exploration with the sand clone. The time freeze combos are way more you have way more options to play with when freezing somebody at the time freeze. Uh, I could go on pretty much, but like being that NRS's current formula is to reinvent the wheel as of MK1 from MK11, uh, I want to see this design going forward for like I want to see MK1 Garrus's design carry into the next installment he's in if he ever comes back. If they scrap his MK1 design and like do something else, I'm going to be pretty upset, honestly. And
Yeah.
to name like a lesser recently new addition to the series like Scorpion, Hellfire Scorpion and MKX is like what I resonate with the most in terms of Scorpion like gameplay, like fast paced, block pressure, maybe like some minor damaging 50-50s like his overhead punch, knockdown. He has a teleport, he has a spear, he has some kind of flame special moves, whether it be Hellfire. He has an aerial throw, uh, stuff like that. But then in MK1, he's doing knee uppercut 3 times, sometimes 4 in the same combo. And it's just like, dude, that's not Scorpion gameplay. That's like a whole new character. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, can you relate to
Yeah.
that at all? Like,
Yeah. I
with the
mean, you get a new
current
character and they
NRS
play exactly
games?
like what you want. Yeah. I mean, didn't every Sub Zero player go through that in MK1 because his ice ball is almost useless?
Yeah, I
And they
mean,
were like,
yeah, like,
uh, yeah, to be
um,
fair, I like how he plays actually at the casual level because the overhead is hard for like casuals to block. But I understand people being like, the ice ball is a signature move for Sub Zero. It's like his Hadoken, and here it is being complete ass in MK1. Um, yeah.
yeah, I feel like they've strayed away a lot from the characters' move sets from the past games because like part of those move sets gave them their identity. Like in my opinion, like MK9 Rain is like the coolest, and I know I keep cherry picking. Let me go like backwards. So I was about to talk about Rain, but a reverse example. Instead of favoring a design from 9, I'm gonna give favor to a design in MK1 actually. So Noob Saibot, I think his gameplay in MK9 and MK11 isn't as fun as the MK1 Noob Saibot. I think that's a character that they redesigned very well and that they should go like continue forward with. Like Noob Saibot in MK1 has like the Shadow clone, where it throws the green ghost ball, and you have control of when it does you release the ball. And he just has all these portal setups, like the portal he throws at the ceiling that lands on the floor. He has embrace chaos like stuff. So like uh, he has like aspects of MK9 Noob Saibot in terms of like being able to throw the shadow clone like as a low or as like the tackle or in the air even, and that's really cool. Like I think his MK1 design is his superior. Like I want to see more of that MK1 design going forward and expanded
Hmm.
on instead of scrapped. And I feel like this goes deeper than just the game itself. Like this would save NRS dev time. It would save them money on motion capture because I'm sure mocap people have high budgets, high paychecks, and
Hmm.
it would just save NRS a lot of time, money, and they could just build upon an existing, moves list. Um, I just don't know how you feel about that, like, because a lot of our games always feel like, oh, it's just that one more patch and it would have been such a much better game. But like, if they already know they have a deadline to meet, why not try to make a game that had the best aspects of like MK9, MKX, and kind of mesh it all in one game, and then implement Legacy going forward. That way, you can save on that dev time, save on that money,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
it is one
Um,
of Mortal Kombat's biggest weaknesses and sometimes a strength, actually, that they reinvent the wheel every time. There's zero consistency, and I kind of do wish they'd cut that out because if I play Scorpion, he should have his like 4 or 5 dedicated specials. You know,
yes, yes.
he should have his same 4 or 5 strings, even that should be in every game. So at least when they add new stuff, I have that knowledge from a previous game, or at least that comfort. You want the character to be your character. Rain is a funny example. MK9 Rain is nothing like MK11 Rain. They're not even close, and
Yes,
one is
yes.
also completely different all over again. So I kind of feel bad for Rain mains because on the one hand you get 3 different versions, that's the upside, but the downside is if you like how he plays, too bad. He's going to be completely different in every game. At least Scorpion, they're never going to take away the teleport. With Sub-Zero, they're never going to take away his slide, but they may make his ice ball useless. That happened in MK1, which would have been unheard of until recently. I do agree that they should make it more consistent. I hate that they'll completely reinvent it all the time. That does bother me, especially when they really nail it. Like you said, Garrus in MK1 is very fun. I think he's way more interesting. My only gripe with Garrus is I wanted more ways to stack the hourglass.
Oh yeah, other than just the 3 moves he can stack it with.
Yeah, I wanted more. Like kind of how Bull Cho and MKX could drink after so many different moves. I
Yeah.
wish that Garrus had that. Now, don't make it lame like with Bull Cho, where he just like does the same drink animation every time. Like make it unique. But the idea of Garrus getting to build his hourglass in different ways would be a lot more fun. Plus, unfortunately, despite there being ways to do it mid combo, like he can do a move that gives him an hourglass, most skilled players won't do that. They'll just freeze the opponent, build it there, or they'll hide behind one of their moves they set up and then stack 2 back to back. They don't do it in a very creative way. There's a guaranteed way that's more boring, and that's what they do.
Yeah,
So
usually there it is a combo route tied to it because the hourglass summon itself just has a lot of recovery frames. So usually it is done in a combo for that reason. But yeah, like it would be cool if there were more special moves or any kind of move that allowed him to build more
like imagine if his sweep
hourglasses.
could do it. It'd be kind of fun. Like if his sweep, but like just his regular sweep, he knocks you down, boom, someone's an hourglass. Kind of cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool like if one of his air combos, like at the cost of some damage, maybe you set up an hourglass because his air combos are pretty useless. Like outside of style points, they're not very useful.
And it's funny how NetherRealm doesn't understand basic stuff like that, like basic countermeasures and balancing methods. For example, command grabs have always been like trash in terms of damage. And I'm like, but why? you know, because the risk is higher if you whiff it. So that's why the damage is usually higher. And like you just said, the option to build an hourglass, but it costs meters. That's a complete not cost meter. Build an hourglass, but you lose out on damage. That's a perfectly reasonable countermeasure. I'll be right back and use the restroom real quick. Takes me like 30 seconds.
All right, yeah, no worries.
Wait.
Yeah, so while we wait for him to get back from the laboratory, just showing off some of my MK1 footage that I got from our recent local in Cleveland or Mentor, Ohio specifically. But we got Demoralized, one of the best Garrus players, and there's like myself, my brother in this video. Lots of Garrus players in Ohio. Where like there's like an infestation of Garrus players. It's pretty cool. Um, Facing one of our premier Ghostface players, Dearden. And it was a first of 2 tournaments, so anything could happen between both players. But trying to bring back locals, that's another thing actually that I'm probably going to bring up is that's another reason why we have lower numbers in the FGC for MK and NRS games.
Okay, so just giving you a little heads up, I got about maybe 20 more minutes. So if there's now the time to start.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right. So outside of the gameplay stuff, um, so in terms of like a product, and I think the another thing about the lack of legacy is I think that's another reason why has so many subdivisions in the scene. Like MK9 players sometimes don't like the games after 9, or some players don't like the backtrack from MK11 to the older games, or they don't like the new game. So like that's another thing too in terms of like an FGC bubble. I wish there would be more legacy so we could have those higher tournament numbers, like Evo numbers, stuff like that. That's one other point why I wish they would implement legacy. But just to stray away from the gameplay side, since I have you for a little bit of a shorter time, as a product, um, what do you think? Like, obviously, the online game mode should be fleshed out, but like, would you like to see like any type of mini games or like the crypt return or um, anything outside of the gameplay, like the traditional gameplay? Like, what are some things you want to see coming back? Because I think the story mode obviously should like scrap the multiverse stuff. So I
Yeah.
think we need to work on the story a lot. I want to see like some type of mini games come back instead of invasions because I'm not a fan of invasions. Like I don't understand why they don't go to like some mini games that had like the chibi art style that Puzzle Combat and Motor
Mhm.
Combat had. I think having the test your blank games like test your might, sight, strike, luck, those should all be givens going forward. Like those should always be in every MK game.
I agree.
Towers, stuff like that. Um, how
Mhm.
do you feel about the things like outside of the traditional gameplay? Like, what do you want to see going forward? 'Cause I think there's like a
Oh, man.
lacking of that with MK1.
Yeah, I definitely want Motor Combat. That's the one that needs to come back. I want my Mario Kart Mortal Kombat, but expand upon it because it was admittedly very basic when it first came out. I want Motor Combat, and I understand the idea behind Invasions. They wanted some very easy mode they could rehash and keep fresh. The problem is nobody wanted to play it for several reasons. I pitched an idea on the Combat Kings podcast about how Invasions could have worked. Number one, don't do the dumb board game layout. Let the player just walk around freely, like a third person shooter. Just let them walk around. And they still step on the little coins to do a mini game, but make it be free roam and just divide it into sections. So before you can move on to section 2, you have to get at least this many points. But you can choose which games you want to play to get those points. You're not forced to do this annoying, stupid, break the puzzle blocks, mini game or something. That's what I would have done to keep it a bit more interesting. But it never needs to come back. I don't want invasions, but I would like an exploration kind of mode that could be fun, where you just walk around and explore. I've always joked that a Mortal Kombat dating sim would be fun.
That's
I even
funny.
made a bunch of artwork. I had a buddy make a bunch of artwork of it that he was really, really good at. It was cute, and maybe not even to the like full extent. But have you seen in Street Fighter 6 the World Tour where you can build a relationship with the characters and they'll text you, they'll tell you secrets about like their life story and all that. It's kind of fun to learn that stuff by leveling up your relationship. Mortal Kombat could do that, and it would be fun. It could be a fun extra mode.
Yeah,
People like
I didn't know
single
it
player
went that
modes.
deep with the. I did see the world tour to some extent. I didn't know it went that deep though. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, you can build a whole relationship with the character, like fake, obviously. But what I mean is, as you level up the relationship meter, you get unlocks like cutscenes or flashbacks and story art, and you also unlock their costume too by doing that. So that's neat, also. As far as the crypt, I'm gonna sound like a fake fan, but I don't think you need the crypt. It's fun, but there's other ways you can make unlocking stuff fun. And I'd kind of prefer if they tailored it to your actual character you're playing, because that incentivizes mixing it up and playing more characters. So I always go to Marvel Rivals for this, because Marvel Rivals, you can get a lot of costumes for free or like next to free. You pay like, what, $5 for the season pass, and you unlock like 12 costumes. And then while you're grinding those costumes for free, you earn in-game currency that gives you like 2 or 3 more costumes for free. That's awesome. I
Yeah,
think that could also work for Mortal Kombat if they wanted to do that. Though if they do that, it better be a reduced price. Like the game should be $50 instead of like 80 or
yeah.
however expensive the games are
I
in the future. They keep trying to say we're gonna charge 100, and I'm like, no, you're fucking not. We're not gonna buy that.
I definitely don't want to pay for fatalities again. That's just ridiculous to me.
Yeah, that's why it needs to be a free option for it, 100%. And that's what I would do. I'd recommend like a level up system for your character. And as you level up your character by playing or completing challenges, even the mini games would count. That's how you unlock your gear and your costumes and stuff, as opposed to just going to the crypt and looking online. Where's it at? Because that's what most players do. Let's be honest. Like the crypt
Yeah, I
was
feel
fun
you.
when we were kids and there weren't guides for it. But now you just look it up. Like, how do I do it? Okay.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a fair criticism. Yeah, One thing I want to see like with the customization is like I want to see like the way they did it in Injustice 2 was good. My only issue with Injustice 2 was like there was multiple gear pieces with different effects on them, and it just flooded your odds of getting specific like gear pieces. Like stats and gear pieces should be separate. There should only be one
Yeah,
kind of a gear piece, and if you want stats tied to it, it should be in whatever game mode it comes in, and you should just be able to augment your armor. You know, I don't want to
yeah.
have to hope to get lucky and find this one piece with Bane that I'm like I had a hard time. There was like a mask I wanted for him and I never got it because I just wasn't lucky enough. Like I don't want it to be tied to luck. Uh,
Yeah,
just
I hate
because
that too.
there's
I
like
don't mind some
eight
of
of the
it, but
same mask, but it just has different
yeah,
effects, so it's stupid. But like if
thankfully, yeah.
they should you could customize the shoulders, the legs, the boots, like the
Hmm.
belt, the mask. Like in Injustice 2 you had like five or six like options to play with, whereas like MK11 I think it was 3 and then MK1 it's only 2, I think. So like they kind of decreased that amount unfortunately, and I would like to see the amount go back to like Injustice 2's amount. But at allowing you to gain it or earn it by just playing as your character in any game mode, whether it's online, offline. And I want to see Conquest come back. Like I don't know if you played Deception's Conquest at all, but and I know in a modern fighting game with the graphics they have to use, like I know it would take a lot longer to develop, but I really hope we can see a modernized Conquest mode from like a Deception inspired modern Conquest. That'd be so cool. That's like one of my biggest dreams for the series.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was a big thing people were excited about with MK1 because it seemed like Ed Boon and everyone kept teasing that Conquest was coming back. But then we got Invasions, which is not even close to the same because you're not allowed to freely explore. You're just stuck on a board game. Yeah, I think that Conquest would be great. That'd be a fun way to keep people engaged. NetherRealm needs to understand that there's a difference between making modes that you have to play to unlock something and just making modes that people want to play. That's what you actually should do. Again, to harp on Marvel Rivals, they keep making new little fun minigame modes that are clearly just to be fun. They're not trying to goat you into paying money with these new modes. They're free. They're
Yeah,
just trying to get you playing because every minute you're playing is a minute you might buy something, which is fine. As long as the game mode's fun, I don't see an issue with that. And NetherRealm needs to adopt that mindset of making modes that you want to play, not making us grind for it. Because I have buddies, you mentioned Sonic Ha XD and the Fourth Snake. They both despise invasions more than me, which is why I found it funny that they were grinding it. And they'd say, well, I want the costumes.
yeah, it feels more like a chore than actual enjoyment, and like it
Hmm.
should be as different from traditional gameplay as possible because it's just too similar to the traditional gameplay to me. Like
Yeah.
it's just it has some annoying effects here and there, but like outside that, it's just too similar. You know, like uh, I should be able to grind for my rewards, whether it's through Test Your Might. Like, if I want to play like just a non-stop run of Test Your Mights as Garrus to earn rewards, like I should have that option. Or maybe certain rewards should be tied, like locked behind Test Your Might. Like, you have to break the diamond as Garrus to get this piece or something. You know, like,
Hmm.
um, and costumes too. Like MK11 Garrus's costume is really cool in my opinion, but like they never made the costume for him. And like some characters are just missing out on costumes in general, but you have Melina who has like a million costumes. And as far as
Hmm.
the costumes that are supposed to be faithful like remakes, like
Yeah.
uh, the just I think it was what Deception Shao, Deception I'm sorry, Deadly Alliance, Shang and Quan Chi, Deadly Alliance Scorpion being the biggest example in my opinion. Like it's not even a one for one like carbon copy. Like his head wasn't fleshy in Deadly Alliance; it was a skeleton head, and that's the whole
Yeah.
reason why I never bought the costume. Is because a lot of
Hmm.
these faithful quote unquote callback like legacy costumes, they're not one to one like copies. Like the Sindel Deception skin was nothing like. It looked more like her alternate skin in Deception than
Yeah.
her base
Terrible.
skin. Like I don't like we need to like I don't know if there's like a copyright thing behind that, which I don't there shouldn't be if I'm to my
There's
knowledge.
not. They just refused. Someone at NetherRealm has a very big misunderstanding with what fans want about those classic costumes. They either think we want them censored or think that other fans will be upset that they're an option. It's so stupid. And then with the ones that are changed for no reason, like the Scorpion one, that's a fatality thing, which is still
Oh,
stupid because some fatalities melt your face off. And they wanted him to still have the face melting effect. And you can't do that if he has a skull face already. So that's why they put flesh on it, which is so stupid. NetherRealm, we don't care because most of us don't want to even do the fatalities after month 1 anyway. So you shouldn't even design like the outfits around a fatality. And then there's little stuff like I didn't like how with Deadly Alliance Shang Tsung, his little straps were restrained.
yeah.
I think they're called skulls. They were restrained behind a belt. I'm like, no, they're supposed to be like hanging off the front. Like what? I don't care if it's a physics issue. I don't give a shit. Just do it how it should look. And then you have little things that are dumb, like Lee May being censored or
Yeah,
Natara being
Natara.
censored.
Yeah.
And
I
you're like, there's other costumes they could have used without having to censor them.
yeah, there I just wish like whether there's like they can be like I know MK9 was very nude heavy like with the designs. I don't care whether they're nude heavy or not. I just want the costume to be identical. Like even if the costumes were revealing from the old games, they don't have to have like freaking quadruple D size titties to you know, like you don't have to alter the costume like just because they're like more revealing in the older games, you know? Like they can still be like they don't have to be exaggerated body parts. Like it could still be the same costume without the exaggeration of the body parts. Like and I don't care whether they're exaggerated or not. I just want the costumes to be the same, you know? And I just it's just a loss of it's like you're losing out on a money grab, you know? Like I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's very dumb. I I feel bad being negative in a lot of my videos, but I even told them straight up, like, NetherRealm, do you just hate money? I want you to just admit if you hate money because you're doing all these practices that are just bad for money.
Yeah, I mean, I love like NRS games, and it's been hard to like be a fan of the Mortal Kombat series because like it already gets like hate as it is, unfortunately. But like Legacy Collection was a flop, and I was really hoping to play that with like a modern net code and game modes, um, but unfortunately, like there's like 6 frames of lag on some consoles or platforms or whatever, so that sucks. And then there's no like online rank system. You know, it's like there was so much potential, and like, I don't think that's NRS's fault. 'Cause I think it was Digital Eclipse or whatever. But like, uh, that just tarnishes the Mortal Kombat franchise, regardless of who developed it. And I just want to see a game where people are like, "Whoa, like MK's back on the map. It's part of the big three again with Tekken and Street Fighter. Look at these Evo numbers, or look at how the tournaments are performing in terms of entries and like." It regressed in consumer sales, like from MK11. I think it's what got like it fell from like 14 million from MK11 to 8 million or something like that. I don't remember the exact sales numbers, but I know they were lower. And I also am just tired of these false promises. Like Ed Boon, I think on record has and this is no shade to Ed Boon. It's just going by what he posts on Twitter. Like he's said that this game that we're working on that's current is going to be the most supported game, but then MK11 fell short and didn't get as much dev time, and life or not life support.
It
The
ended earlier than expected. Yeah,
yes, and then
it seemed
MK1 was
very
the same
likely the
thing.
third part was happening. Yeah.
Yeah, like there was nothing after Chaos Reigns, unfortunately, and it's just 2 broken promises, and it's just like there's so many things that are just hurting the series, and I wish that we could just amend these things, you know. And there's so many ways that you can easily fix these issues, like implement some legacy in the gameplay so your characters still have their identities to their gameplay. Give us the faithful costumes. Give us the old story. Give us modern game modes, both mini games and like online game features, whether you're a competitive player for ranked or you want to play with your buddies on player match, whatever the case may be. I just to spitball a bunch of them off the top of my head. Like a lot of those in one game would just go such a long way.
Mhm. Oh, 1000%. I agree.
But
Uh,
yeah, you got anything else to say before you gotta go, or like any shout outs or any social plugs or something? Like, you got
I mean,
anything?
I'm TrueUnderDawg on YouTube. That's the main thing I really care about. I don't got an Instagram or nothing. And on Twitter, I don't post enough. I wish I was more consistent on Twitter, but I'm usually just there to shit post or, get caught doom scrolling. I guess I could also shout out the Combat Kings podcast, where me and the Fourth Snake and Sonica XD cover not just fighting games, not just Mortal Kombat, sometimes other things as well. It's a fun podcast. Way too long, in my opinion. I wish they'd stop making it 3 to 4 hours, but that's what they do. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
about it. I'm trying to add more stuff to my channel personally. I'm doing more Street Fighter stuff. So today I noticed that somebody I think is trying to sabotage me. One of my videos got like bombed, like with a bot,
Uh huh.
which is odd. It has 100% likes. With over like 700 likes, that's impossible. That just doesn't happen. So
That's
somebody
strange.
is sabotaging that video. um, sorry.
No, no, I was just saying that's strange. Like, I'd never even heard of that before.
It's very strange, and I think it was meant to like, um, YouTube can tell when you use bots. It doesn't like it. So I wonder if they're doing it to sabotage the video. Plus, when you use like bots, you don't even get the view because they gotta watch for at least like 30 seconds or something for it to count
Yeah.
as a view.
Mm-hmm.
So if a bot likes it, you don't even get the views, which is bad too. YouTube sees that as like a terrible watch time retention. So it seems like somebody just wanted to sabotage me on that video, but hey, joke's on them because if I get this problem solved, I can just re-upload that video and say, hey guys, so this video got attacked. um, that's a whole catchy thumbnail and title, to be like, hey guys, check this out. So I'll try to, you know, turn shit into lemonade.
Yeah,
Not an expression,
I
but
wish you good luck on your YouTube endeavors in that regard. Hopefully,
thank you.
there's not too many obstacles that go into that. That's one I've never heard of before.
Me neither. It was very bizarre, but I just know for a fact in the years I've been on YouTube, you can't have 100% likes with that many likes. There's no way. At least one person would dislike.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So
just
there's no way.
unrealistic.
Yeah, it's Fantasyland. Like something happened there. And hey, maybe it's on YouTube's end. I have no idea, but I'll try to get it fixed.
Hell yeah! Well, thanks for coming on. I'd love to have you again. Like, we usually don't do like repeat guests like too often. So like, I have a bunch of guests like lined up in the future. But like, if you, we'd love to have you on again at some point. And, maybe Dave will be able to make the next episode. But
It'd be
yeah,
fun, yeah.
it's cool to get. I'm trying to. Long story short, like with the podcast, like I like getting a lot of players' perspectives, both competitive and casual. And you're probably like the more. Like, I don't know how competitive you are, like I said,
I'm
but like,
definitely casual because I do tournaments every now and then. And I do okay, but I'm not the kind of person who looks forward to a tournament. And when I get invited to like random online tournaments, I'm like, no, it's okay.
yeah,
Like I don't seek them out.
okay, yeah, I don't want it to come off like an insult either, but like, cause we like, it's important to have people like you in the scene, like, because obviously you have your thoughts on the series with, like inside, like whether it involves the gameplay or the things around the gameplay, like you're kind of like giving the product like reviews, uh,
Yeah.
outside of just the gameplay. So like I like having like you're kind of like the first person we really had that didn't just strictly do competitive. So like I'm glad to have like a coverage on that because I think it could be helpful and productive for the franchise, and that's kind of what we're aiming to do with the podcast. Like, um, whether NetherRealm watches these or not, I don't know. That's like a hope that I have, but like if we can give them as many criticisms, like polite criticisms as possible, that can maybe help them make a better game. That's like the hope that I have for the podcast, pretty much, and just having as many viewpoints as possible, I think, is a productive thing to have done. So, yeah, that's like the
Yeah, no,
goal of this
100%.
channel's podcast.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm very flattered you invited me on after hearing you have this like huge backlog of guests. I'm very happy that you included me. Thanks for the time. I'm trying to do more collabs. That's my biggest regret when my channel was doing amazing. I didn't do any collabs, and I'm like, damn, that was the time to do it. So, trying to make up for it now.
Yeah, I actually just got hip to that feature, competitor. If you ever heard of his name showed me the collaboration feature, and like I think Mike Hollow made a collaboration with like Tom Brady, and I was like, oh wow, I've never seen. I didn't know you could do that with your videos, like having the YouTube channel of said people like in the video like that. I was like, okay, like that's cool. Yeah, I'm also new to like the content creation side. I'm not like huge on it, but I just like talking about the game and playing it. So yeah, here I am, just starting that journey.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, awesome, man.
if that's everything on your side, that's been it, folks. That's True Underdog for you, and I believe this is episode 21, if my memory serves. And appreciate you coming on, and we'll have another episode definitely in the future. We'll see you on the next episode of the Nexus podcast. Take care, everybody.
Hell yeah.